Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Cooking Healthier with the Health Dollars. So we're going to do something a little different here. We're going to have my husband Chris cook a recipe from Veggie Primer for the first time. And since it's going to be February, it is February by the time you're seeing this, and Valentine's Day is right around the corner, we decided that a chocolate recipe would be a good place to start.
Absolutely.
And Chris is going to modify the recipe just a little bit from what's on the blog because he doesn't like some of the spices that I use.
That would be ginger and cloves and cinnamon.
So all of the spices that I used. And so he's going to try it with some chili powder. But the recipe that we're going to be making is the vegan homemade chocolate clusters. So we're going to be making some homemade chocolate. And it's actually really simple. All you need are some mini cupcake liners. We use the silicone because it's less waste and they actually hold their shape a little bit better. Then you need a glass bowl or a measuring cup that's microwave safe. I like to use a measuring cup because then I have a handle to grab, although it can get hot in the microwave, so you want to use an oven mitt. And a whisk to stir the melted chocolate. Some measuring cups and measuring spoons. Of course, you need the ingredients, which would be cashews, which we're going to be putting in those cups in just a second. You need some cocoa butter wafers. This is not a sponsored post. I just happen to like Anthony's products here. So coconut wafers, or not coconut, cocoa butter wafers.
Now, if they would like to sponsor it, please contact us.
And order these online, they're a little tough to get. And then Chris does not like dark chocolate, so we're going to make a milk chocolate version of the recipe, and we're going to be using dried powdered oat milk to do that with. You can use other types as well, such as dried coconut milk, whatever kind of dried plant milk you prefer. Some maple syrup that we get from our local farm, Mufig's maple syrup. So shout out to them. And then some cocoa. I should mention I like the special dark, and I just get the Hershey's. It is gluten-free. You can use whatever kind you like.
But that's not the special dark.
This is not the special dark.
I don't like special dark.
He doesn't like special dark. So we're modifying things a little bit. And that's to show you that you can tweak things a little bit to have it be what you want. So,
salt, chili powder, vanilla.
Yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so the recipe calls for, and we have the recipe right over here, right?
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to be reading. I was just listening to you.
No, it's like you have to actually do it.
Okay.
Whoops. Of course, it's making me enter my passcode. There we go. So the recipe calls for how many cashews?
It calls for 3/4 a cup of raw cashews.
All right, but we know that turns out to be about 3 cashews in each cup, and we have 18 mini cupcake cup liners here.
Because we have researched this before.
Yeah, so you're going to want to put 3 cashews in each cupcake liner.
I have washed my hands.
Yeah, good to know. And you can see we're real state-of-the-art here. We're just recording on our iPhones. I think he just dropped the cashews, so hopefully they're good for dogs because Lucy just scooped it.
Bonus!
We have very clean floors because Lucy's always waiting for Chris to drop something.
Chris drops a lot of things.
And Chris drops a lot of things. I should say we just put them on our little round pizza pan that we have here so that it's easy to just move them into the refrigerator when we're done.
All right, 3 cashews per.
All right, so what does the recipe say next?
1 cup cocoa butter wafers.
Okay, so that's these here. Now, normally I would just measure them with the liquid measuring cup because it doesn't have to be exact. But the dishwasher's worn off the measurements on our cups, so we have to hold it up to the light and use a permanent marker to make a mark when we really need to use it as a liquid measuring cup. But for this, we'll use the dry ingredient cup and then just put it up in here. Okay. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to have all my ingredients kind of ready to go because once we melt these, we want to be able to move it, add everything quickly and stir it so it doesn't start to get firm again before we pour it. So we also, ahead of time, we put your ingredients in this little cup here, the dry ingredients. So that's just a teaspoon of chili powder and 1/8 of a teaspoon, I think, of salt.
I believe so.
Yeah. So normally the recipe calls for, I think it's a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of ginger, a 1/4 teaspoon or eighth teaspoon
Of ground cloves.
1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves. So that's how I like it. But we're going to try it with some chili powder. We're going to start off with 1 teaspoon because we're not really sure how spicy that's going to make it. And we know if it's not spicy enough, next time we can add more. You can always add more. It's hard to take it back after you put it in there.
Yes. Have you ever walked down the chocolate aisle in the grocery store and seen how many different kinds of chocolates? So that's us. We're experimenting.
We're experimenting. And this is my OCD kicking in where I need.
All right, let's continue.
Okay.
Leave the cashews there.
All right, so we're going to microwave this at 5 minutes at 40% so that the wafers are just about melted. Okay, and I should be making Chris read these instructions on the actual recipe. So what comes next?
Okay.
40%, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So first we arranged the 18 mini cupcake liners on the small baking pan. We put 3 cashews in each liner. We placed the cocoa butter wafers in the microwave. And we have our dry ingredients together. Now we need the wet ingredients.
Which is going to be the maple syrup and the vanilla, right?
And the cocoa.
Well, that's dry ingredients.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we're waiting for.
All right. So we can't do that until we get the
In the meantime, it's just us.
Yeah. Oh, and I like to have a pot holder to put the hot thing on, and now you can see where we keep our pot holders. We don't have a big kitchen, as you can see. We actually have this turned in a different direction for the video than how it's normally facing. But here, you're going to probably want this so you don't burn your hand. Although you have like those hands that can tolerate hotter things than I can.
It's got a handle. That's all. We'll see.
Yeah, well, it gets a little hot, so you want to be careful. Okay, so you want to do them in the microwave until they're just about,
There's liquid, but there's still some solid there.
Yeah, they're mostly melted, but not entirely melted. And then you stir them to melt them the rest of the way. That looked like maybe they needed to go a little bit longer, but we'll see how it goes. You might need to put them back in if they don't melt when you stir it. Don't mind me.
Well, in our research the other day, this worked. So unless these wafers are different.
Well, they were in the cabinet, and it was 3 degrees outside this morning, so they might be a little colder than they were the other day when we did it.
Oh, all right.
I would do it for another minute, actually. Another minute at 40%.
All right.
Okay. Let me get that up for you. Okay.
All right. All right. There is our melted 1 cup of melted cocoa butter wafers. Now we have 3 tablespoons of maple syrup.
Okay.
Oh, I guess I don't need that anymore. That's 3.
Okay. And then I think there's also some vanilla that needs to go in there, right?
And there is 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. That's a teaspoon.
It's gonna be a little extra vanilla-y.
It's a lot better than clovey.
Okay. I know
Okay.
you don't like the cloves. Let me just grab a paper towel over here.
All right. So that is it for our ingredients.
Did you stir it real good?
No. But the cocoa,
Oh, you
we
need
still
to
need.
stir, you want to stir it after you
Yeah.
put the wet ingredients in.
Actually, I'm using a whisk, so I guess that would be whisking.
You're
it.
whisking. A whisk. You can use like a fork or a spoon, but a whisk is going to do a little bit of a better job. Okay, that should do it. And then you're going to want to add the 1/4 cup of cocoa. That you're splitting it with the powdered milk. So we're going to do a 1/4 cup instead of a 1/2 cup like the recipe says.
All right. And you want to explain why we're doing that?
Because you like milk chocolate and not dark chocolate.
Oh, there you go.
So doing it over the thing that you're mixing in there's a good chance you could just get it all more in there than you want. So it's usually better to measure over something else.
Yes, however, I have been volunteered to do this, so we're doing it the Chris way.
I see. And I will also use a spoon to scoop out the ingredients.
Again, if Margaret was doing this, that's the way it would be
pour
done.
in.
But all right, so I could see I'm being too much here. So
No,
I
do
will-
it, do it.
No. Now, if I spill it all over the place, then you'll see the error of your ways and trying to get me to do something like the way you do it. Oh, jeez. Yeah, see?
All right. Okay, that'll work.
That'll do, Pete.
That'll do. Okay, so then you want to stir that up.
All right, when are we
Oh wait,
putting...
you want to put the spices
Yeah,
in too.
see?
Don't forget
Spices.
that. Oh, and the 1/8 of a teaspoon of sea salt. I just wanted to mention I use the pink Himalayan sea salt because I find that I don't have as much of a reaction to that as I do other types of salt. Like I don't tend to retain water or have other issues if I have
Wow,
this
I don't
versus-
even know if I retain water. Anyway, there it is.
Okay, and then you give that a stir until it's smooth. So let me get a close-up of that.
Not smooth, not smooth.
Yep. Scrape the edges of the
Yes.
bowl.
I am really impressed with how silky this comes out to be.
Yeah. Tasty, too. I describe it as a really clean chocolate. I don't know how else to
I
describe
describe it as good tasting chocolate.
And after you have like really good chocolate and you buy like the cheaper stuff, you feel it kind of like stick to your tongue and it's just not as good. All right, so now you pour it into, and I'll record that as well, you pour it into the cups. And you do it just enough to cover the nuts. And then you go back and you add to whatever ones are maybe a little smaller than the others. So, there we go.
You know, on a cartoon, they would just spin the thing and pour, but I guess I won't be doing that.
Well, you could, though. It is round. That's one of the perks of using something round.
Yeah. If they were touching each other, and I felt like I was some kind of genius, which I don't feel like. I feel like a limp chocolatier.
So I guess we should talk about why bother making your own chocolate? When you can just, there's a lot of vegan chocolate that you can buy.
Because it brings people together.
Well, there's that. And also, when you make it yourself, you know exactly what's in it. And with this chocolate, there aren't any additives, so you're going to possibly have sticky fingers when
You will have sticky fingers.
when you're done. So you can see that Chris did not follow my instructions.
Wow. Again, this is what happens when you get me to do something versus you.
In filling the cups, he filled some of them a little too full, and now he's running low at the end. I'm gonna use that spoon over there to try to scrape some of that out. But if you do it so it just covers the cashews, then you will have enough to have 18 candies. Like some of these are a little fuller than they need to be.
Yes, because I'm freestyling.
You're freestyling. So I think
All right.
I think that'll work.
There you go.
And then you just need to put them in the fridge for at least 20 minutes or so, and we'll come back and see how they look when they're all set.
Chef of the future. Welcome to the future.
All right, so we have
Chocolate.
We have chocolates. Let me show them here.
Yes.
So we got a couple that are a little skimpy, but other than that, we have some that are looking pretty good. And so then we have some plastic bags here that you're just going to pop them out of the...
Do I pop them out onto the floor?
I just pop them out onto the
Well,
tray
all right.
and then put them in the
All
bag.
right, well, that seems a bit easier. All right.
There
Look
you
at
go.
that. Isn't that pretty?
All right, so how about take a taste and see what you think?
Okay.
Is it spicy enough?
I don't know yet. Very chocolatey. I like the cashews, even though I'm not the biggest nut fan, but I like the cashews. Makes me want to try pecans.
Hmm.
I'm happy that I talked you out of using the cloves and the ginger and the cinnamon. I will say that. Good.
So does it seem like it needs more spice?
Well, I'm waiting to see if there's like it's gonna hit me. But so
Here,
far,
I'll take a bite of one of the little ones because I don't want to have a lot right now.
oh, see, you didn't like the little ones, but now they're not so bad. I'd do that recipe again though with the chili powder.
Yeah,
And just to
I think
maybe
maybe a little
increase-
more. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like it.
Yeah, I would try another teaspoon of chili powder actually
Wow.
and see what that does, and maybe even do 2 more teaspoons if the second one isn't enough. But you can always
Well, we
add
could just-
spice, but you can't take it away. So
Yes.
next one I would try 2 teaspoons of the chili powder,
Yes.
and because I'm not really getting a strong spicy.
It just means we get to eat more chocolate as we experiment.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to put the spice in if you just want to do chocolate.
Well, there's a thought.
I just like to spice it up a bit.
Well.
And so you got the hang of it now.
Yes.
We keep them in the refrigerator, or you can keep them in the freezer. Or if you do have like just a cool, dry place, you don't necessarily have to have them in the refrigerator. But because it is just chocolate with no additives or anything like that, it will melt maybe a little more easily.
There you go.
So, yeah, we keep them in the fridge. But you see how quick and easy it is. So you can make your own chocolate. You know what's in it. And you can spice it up however you like. Anything to add? Was this easy?
Yeah, this was easy. This is satisfying because chocolate is good.
and in moderation, of course, like anything else. You have to make it a special treat.
It's a success. Yeah, let's,
All right. So this is our first episode of Cooking Healthier with the Hellfowlers.
And we are the Hellfowlers.
And we are the Hellfowlers. Thought there was a cat hair in there. Anyway. And so if you like this, please go ahead and like and subscribe and catch our next Cooking Healthier with the Hellfowlers, which I think is going to be an Instant Pot recipe. So
oh, the Instant Pot. Yes.
stay tuned.
All right. Bye-bye.